looked to find an alternative. Some people did want to whack them, but we looked for the alternative to violence because it isn't our way. So we got together in this room with these people, and it was an amazing group of people. If ever they should make a movie about this, this room should have been, we should have thought to take notes. But these are people who had done activism for 50 years. And they just started talking, and ideas were rolling off their head, and there was no limits because they were impassioned. How dare they do this to our sisters? We have to answer. The sisters were more like, well, don't get us in more trouble. Let's see. We're not real sure what's going on here. But more so, it was, we did not want our church torn apart by this. In no way, shape, or form were we willing or about to engage in a nuns versus bishops thing. There was no winners in that. We were very protective of our church during this conversation. We were not going to let people who didn't understand it protect us to a point of oblivion. So we talked about what's an appropriate response. So we looked at our gifts. What do we have? Well, we had newfound notoriety, right? Everybody knew who Network was. We were the 12 that were chastised. We also had this Paul Ryan budget and this faithful budget that we had been thinking, how do we get this out? He's going to decimate programs that our sisters run. So it all came together, as God often has it do. We have the faithful budget and the Paul Ryan budget, and somebody comes up with, you know what, we should do a whistle-stop tour. We should just go state to state showing people what the sisters do. And we should also show them what the Paul Ryan's budget will undo. And that's what we did. This meeting took place at the end of April, and by June 18th, or June 15th, we were on the bus. The money was raised to get on the bus. We called every sister we knew along. Now we figured out the path. That's people always ask, how'd you figure out the path we took? We took the path of people we knew voted for the budget, making sure to be in Boehner's, Cantor's, Ryan's, various districts that we knew were politically important. And we wanted to go meet with them. The idea was we go in the morning, we see one of these programs that helps their very own community. We went to their offices and we said, look, this would be killed if you took this budget. And then in the evening we had a friends raiser. We had people come out and tell us their stories. And people were excited about it. People came and they wanted to hear about looking out for each other. They wanted to reach back to this. They remembered when your neighbor needed milk and you just gave it without keeping score. They remembered the buzz that started in the neighborhood when someone lost his job or somebody got sick and you all descended upon the house to see how you could help. People want today, you want today, that America back. And it's here, it's just masked. So we went on the tour and we met with the lobbyists, we met with the people. We used every gift we have, and everywhere we went we said, thank you, Vatican. Because, but God love them. They did this because it didn't become a war. The bishops, if you remember, put out, the director of the USCCB wrote a letter saying that the Paul Ryan budget was an immoral document. It was genius. We stand with, as a united Catholic Church, and all the Americans and the sisters. And like I said, nobody remembers who thought of the bus. Nobody remembers who thought of the idea. But holding up the sisters' works that they did to show how they would be killed with this budget was a beautiful idea. And that idea was taken home, and it took off like wildfire. And this can tell you better than I can tell you what happened when we went on the road. No. That's not it. Okay, to come. No, it should put. Let me try it this way.
They call themselves the Nuns on the Bus, traveling the country, calling attention to the needs of the poor. Their purpose is to put a spotlight on proposed federal budget cuts.
Good. Congressman Ryan proposed a budget and the House passed it. It actually shifts tax cuts to the wealthy. What the budget does is to cut social services, the most effective, efficient programs in our country.
The problem is people's hearts need to be broken. And when people's hearts are broken by the truth of what's happening in our country, then something new emerges.
You come to this building, it's a symbol of transformation. Yep. You've got to have jobs, you've got to have education.
Hello and welcome to Mercy Neighborhood Ministry. My name is Mikkel Brown. I'm a shining star in Harrisburg, and I've been on the honor roll since I've been with Budget.
The only reason that child learned that he was a beautiful, brilliant star is because the community enabled him to see that within himself and to potentiate his being, because he attended these reasonable programs that were aimed at achieving and bringing the most out.
Can't get over the hunger people have for living out some action.
We recognize that our journey in helping homeless single parents with children is not an easy one. We have 3 different programs: a permanent housing program where we provide housing, case management, and a child development specialist.
Everything is brand new when they come in. Everything. To the toothbrush, down to the sheets, everything. Yeah.
That's right.
Our struggle budget-wise, we had to find a way to raise 50% of our budget, and that's where we are right now.
Each of these stories uses federal money to make service happen. This budget Congressman King voted for is wrong for our nation. We were going to give Congressman King a faithful budget. It was put together by the interfaith community, Christians, Jews, and Muslims in D.C. to show there's an alternative way.
As inspirational as this trip was, it was also a journey of heartbreak and anguish, and it was a journey of hope.
Nuns in the bus speak for not just Catholics, not for Christians only, not for Jews, they speak for all of us. We pray that our lawmakers are inspired to do the same.
What we saw over and over again were responsible programs that lift up people. On our trip, we've reduced the faithful budget to 5 words. 1, 2, 3. Reasonable revenue for responsible programs. Yoo-hoo! I urge all of you to join my sisters around the country in the patriotic act of building community. We, in the end, can be the dream that the founders had for us. And we all know what that dream was. The first 3 words of the Constitution, right? We, the people!
And what? And when you find a social justice movement that works, and that worked, that got people talking about the responsibility to each other, you need to ride the wave. We took the Nuns on the ferry in September in New York. Over 200 sisters showed up. We lobbied Representative Grimm's office there, and it made people aware of what was going on a more local level. And the Nuns on the Bus activities continue in many states. So jump on board. It's not just nuns. We're all called to lobby and to advocate for system change. Whatever you do it with, oh, it's not moving. But do it with all your heart and don't give up, because change does happen. We just need to be consistent about it and persevere. Thank you.